World Tenz. We all have witnessed huge political and financial scams, frauds in our country involving money which amounts to multi-million dollars. And these are just the ones which have been exposed. Let's not even get into those which are yet to be uncovered. With so much capital in hand, one can't help but wonder, would India still have been a developing country had this money been used on what it was actually meant to be spent on? According to the International Monetary Fund, corruption costs the world up to $2 trillion. That is a substantial amount of money, 2% of global GDP. On December 9, the United Nations commemorated International Anti-Corruption Day, recognizing the urgent need to eradicate corruption and promote global unity and stronger ties. United against corruption for prosperity, peace, and security was the key subject. The incident saw former telecom minister A. Raja being forced to resign after the CAG indicted him in the 2G spectrum scam that resulted in a loss of about 176,000 crore to the national exchequer. The scandal revolves around the alleged irregularities in allotting wireless radio spectrum and licenses by the telecom ministry to private operators, some of whom were ineligible. Estimated to be involving money worth close to 35,000 crore, the scam included discrepancies like payment to non-existent parties, willful delays in execution of contracts, overinflated price and bungling in purchase of equipment through tendering, and misappropriation of funds. The accused, former chairman of the Commonwealth Games Organizing Committee, Suresh Kalmati, was charged and jailed later by CBI in April 2011. Abdul Karim Telgi, the name is still etched boldly in the memory of the whole of India. The con artist, who shook the entire nation with his master dart of forgery and printing duplicate stamp papers. The scam spanned across 12 states and estimated to the amount of 20,000 crore plus. With support from numerous government departments, this scam one of the first few which brought to light the shameful corrupt practices of the politicians and the bureaucrats alike. Ramalinga Raju is accused of fudging the books of accounts for several years and inflating revenues and profit figures of Satyam. His efforts to fill the fictitious assets with real ones through Meta's acquisition failed, after which he decided to confess the crime. India's fourth largest IT company lost a staggering 10,000 crore in market capitalization as investors reacted sharply and dumped shares, pushing down the scrip by 78% to 39 rupees 0.95 on the Bombay Stock Exchange in a single day. The Vijay Mallya scam is one of the biggest bank scams in India. After being accused of fraud and money laundering in India, Mallya escaped and sought sanctuary in the United Kingdom in 2016. A collection of 17 Indian banks is attempting to collect roughly $90 billion in loans. Mallya is accused of using it to gain 100% or partial ownership of more than 40 companies around the world. In the 1980s, the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and several others, including a powerful NRI family named the Hindus, were accused of receiving kickbacks from Bofors for winning a bid to supply India's 155mm field howitzer. The Swedish state radio had broadcast a startling report about an undercover operation carried out by Bofors, Sweden's biggest arms manufacturer, whereby $16 million were allegedly paid to members of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's Congress. The Punjab National Bank fraud case relates to fraudulent letter of undertaking worth 11,356 crore issued by the Punjab National Bank at its Brady House branch in Fort, Mumbai, making Punjab National Bank liable for the amount. The fraud was allegedly organized by jeweler and designer Nirav Modi. This meant that if those companies defaulted on the loan, PNB would be responsible for the repayment. when the government was accused of fraudulently assigning 194 coal blocks between 2004 and 2009, the Comptroller and Auditor General brought the scandal to light. As several bureaucrats and politicians were engaged, this was one of the scams that shook the entire country to its core. Despite the CAG's initial prediction of a loss of more than 10 lakh crore rupees, the final audit stated that the scam cost 1.86 lakh crore rupees. More commonly known as the Kara Gotala, this scam was worth a whopping 900 crore and involved the infamous and forever popular Bihar politician Lalu Prasad Yadav. The scam involved fabrication of vast herds of fictitious livestock for which fodder, medicine and animal husbandry equipment was supposedly procured. The Hawala scam erupted in the 1990s, drawing attention to politicians such as L.K. Advani, Arjun Singh, Yashwant Sinha, Madan Lal Khurana, and others who were accused of bribery. The Hawala brothers, also known as the Jain brothers, were suspected of being involved in a terrorist raid. It was discovered that these lawmakers made transfers of alleged black money through their brothers.